Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 205 of our trip around the United States. So last night, we're driving through the desert of New Mexico. All we see around us is cows and desert under the full moon. And then suddenly, there's a bright light in front of us, and next thing I know, we're here in Roswell, New Mexico. I'm not entirely sure how we got here, and what's even more confusing to me is now we're 2 days ahead of our originally planned schedule. I have no idea what happened, and I have no idea how we got here. But we're already here, so we're going to continue on with our route. From here in Roswell, we've got about 400 miles to cover today. We're going to be making our way northeast out of the city until we hit Clovis. From Clovis, we're going to be proceeding west until Vaughn. And then from Vaughn, we're going to drop southwest again. Now, over the next 4 days, we will be in New Mexico and Arizona. We've already put in extensive work in both these states. We're already more than halfway done geocaching through New Mexico, and we've got only 3 counties left to finish off Arizona as well. So we'll be spending the next day and a half here and the next 2 days both in southern New Mexico and southern Arizona. After that, we're going to be taking a break for a few days and biding our time until the swag event in Yuma. And then we've got a lot planned from there moving forward, but it's going to be a pretty easy 4 days moving through the southern portion of these states, covering down on the last of the counties and the pages we need on the south half of these states as we make our way toward the coast of California. Now I'm really hoping that we can get out of Roswell soon and we're not going to have any more weird experiences. So let's get a move on. Come on, let's go.
Welcome to Roswell, New Mexico, the county seat of Chavez County and the 5th most populated city in the state with about 50,000 people living here. Before we get to the strange parts of the city, of which there are many, let's start with the normal. Featuring a proud military heritage, Roswell is home to the New Mexico Military Institute, founded in 1891. Located right in the downtown area, the New Mexico Military Institute enrolls 1,000 cadets from the junior college and high school levels each year. This institute is the only state-supported military college located in the western United States, with many notable alumni who have served both at the senior levels in the military and private sector. There is also some out-of-the-world history to be discovered here, as this is the home of the original Rocket Man. No, I'm not talking about Elton John here. I'm talking about the scientist Robert H. Goddard. He is recognized as the father of American rocketry and is one of the pioneers in the theoretical exploration of space. Through years of hard work, he successfully launched the first liquid-fueled rocket on March 16th of 1926. While not only ignored by the government, but ridiculed by public media for promoting junk science, he continued on with his work. Then, in 1935, from the desert of Roswell, he launched a rocket 7,500 feet into the air, leading the way into the age of space exploration. You do not have to look far, though, before the normal takes an abrupt shift into the paranormal. In the summer of 1947, in the desert of Roswell, New Mexico, there was an event now known as the Roswell Incident. A local rancher discovered debris he could not identify in his sheep pasture, reporting it to the local authorities. In the blink of an eye, military officials were on site, cleaning up the debris, trying to keep the event quiet from the public, and leaked photos indicate something that appears to be body bags being removed from the site. Officials from the Air Force claimed that it was nothing more than a crashed weather balloon, but for the people that had been there and seen the pieces of debris, they were having none of it. The apparent attempt at a cover-up only heightened the suspicions of the people who had been there, who firmly believed that this was the remains of an extraterrestrial flying saucer. The skepticism of the public only continued to grow in the 1950s as many residents of the area witnessed bodies falling toward the ground. Within minutes of each drop, military vehicles would pull up on site and quickly whisk away the bodies. The Air Force claimed that this was nothing more than a series of secret dummy drops used to test how high-altitude pilots might survive falls. Once again, the official military story only put the public on edge, who were convinced that these supposed dummies were extraterrestrials who were being kidnapped and experimented on by government scientists. In 1994, the government declassified many of its files concerning the dummy drops and the Roswell incident. According to these files, the debris found in the field actually belonged to Project Mogul. It is said to be nothing more than the remains of a 700-foot-long string of neoprene balloons, radar reflectors, and sonic equipment that scientists had launched from the nearby Alamogordo base. Whether this is the truth of the matter or another cover-up by the US government, we may never know, but the residents of Roswell have run full force with the alien conspiracy. Everywhere you go in town, you can find aliens, both subtle and overt. Extraterrestrial footprints lead the way to many businesses that sell things like alien juice and other out-of-this-world products. And this is by no means limited to the local businesses either. Even the big-name corporations have taken part in the conspiracy, designing their signage and buildings to reflect the unique nature of Roswell. For my part, and most importantly for any US government representatives listening in right now, I am neither confirming nor denying these conspiracies. Whatever did or did not happen to Aichan and I last night, I am just glad that we were able to make it into and back out of Roswell in one piece. Over a half of our target list for the day was immediately in or around the Roswell area. There are a lot of very fun and creative geocaches here, this mailbox being one of my absolute favorites. If only I'd known this was here in advance, I could have shipped myself a few essentials. It also felt a little odd for Aichan and I to have to search through a debris field to find the prize that we sought, but we did manage to track down the weather balloon. As you may already suspect, not everything in Roswell is as it seems. Each time that we thought we came across a flying saucer, it turned out to be nothing more than a metal tin, Scout's honor. There were also no bodies hanging from the trees, just film cans for us to discover. This ground zero did have my hackles raised though, because I sensed one heck of a conspiracy, as there was not only a pill bottle, but a metal tin to be found as well. Which one is it? There were still more debris fields to be discovered as we made our way across the desert between Roswell and Clovis, although some of these were a little more down to earth. I'm actually glad that it was a cold day out here, because we needed to turn up the heat just a little bit to be able to track this one down at the top of this chimney. Located on the far eastern edge of the state, we made our way into Clovis, the county seat of Curry County. My original target in town was a train cache, and as you all well know, I'm not exactly enamored with those, so I instead made my way over to the Veterans Park down the road. Not too far outside of Cannon Air Force Base, this park offers a great display of veterans memorials. I really enjoyed getting up close and personal with the Duster pointed straight down Grand Avenue, an M42A1 self-propelled 40mm anti-aircraft gun, which is located right next to an F-111 Delta Aardvark, which is the centerpiece of the park. It was a solid hour-long drive directly west from there to reach Fort Sumner, the county seat of Tobacco County. Here you can visit the Billy the Kid Museum, an infamous outlaw who was shot and killed here in 1881. Born as Henry McCarthy in 1859, he went by the alias of William H. Bonney, but was always better known as Billy the Kid. Not only was he well known for his involvement in New Mexico's Lincoln County War, during which he allegedly committed 3 murders, but he was also said to have killed 21 men before he was shot and killed at the age of 21. Billy the Kid's tombstone was stolen in 1951 and not recovered for 26 years. It was then stolen again in 1981 and recovered 4 days later. Having already been stolen twice, it was no surprise to see it safely and securely locked up behind this metal cage. Departing Fort Sumner, it was another hour driving west along lonely desert roads to reach the city of Vaughn. At this point, we had just been retreading ground we'd already been through, but we were more than happy to be able to stop off so that we could find another geocache in the area and stretch our legs for a few minutes. Because from here, it would be another 3 hours, crossing 200 more miles of desert roads before we finally reached our destination for the night.
We did it. We covered down on our miles for the day. We pushed all the way out of Roswell, through Clovis, and then once we got out of Clovis, we really didn't need any more counties and pages for the rest of the day. So from there, it was hundreds of miles and hours of driving, with only the nice stop to break it up at the Billy the Kid Museum and Grave, as well as finding a geocache in Vaughn, which we didn't need, but at that point, we both needed to stretch our legs for a minute. From here, we're going to push forward until we reach Truth or Consequences. That looks like it'll be the best spot for us to bed down for the night. Hopefully, we'll actually know how we made it there when we wake up in the morning, because today, It was a little weird starting off in Roswell. I'm still not entirely sure what happened there. What I do know is that tomorrow is going to be a lot of the same. We're really just covering the gaps in the southern end of New Mexico on what we couldn't already knock out before. So it's going to be a few county and page stops, and other than that, tomorrow will also feature hundreds of miles of driving through the desert through counties and pages we've already covered to get to ground we need to get to. But that's part of the name of the game, and I'm excited to close up the southern half of New Mexico, so that way when we swing back and get the northern end of the state, we can focus on the places we have not been through before. Thank you guys for joining us on this primarily tour of Roswell, but in general, our trek across southern New Mexico. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.